Hey, welcome back to another episode where we uncover the secrets to making your business data unstoppable. Have you ever wondered why some companies are swimming in insights while others are drowning in data chaos? Today, we're diving into the 5 components of a killer data strategy, a topic that can transform how your business works, competes, and thrives. Here's the deal. Data is the new gold. But just like gold, it's useless if it's buried underground and no one knows how to dig it up. Without a solid data strategy, your business could be losing time, money, and competitive edge. That's why this topic is a game changer. You'll learn how to treat data like the VIP asset it truly is. In this video, I'm sharing actionable insights you can start using today. By the end, you'll know how to turn data chaos into clarity and avoid the biggest mistakes businesses make when managing their data. Plus, I've got a couple of crazy real-life examples you don't want to miss. Seriously, one company wasted 10 petabytes of data storage. Don't be that company. For those of you who don't know me yet, I'm Mirko, founder of Data and Analytics, and your guide through the wonderful and sometimes wild world of data strategy. Think of me as your personal coach, here to break down complex ideas into simple, actionable steps. And yes, I'm a bit of a data nerd, but hey, I promise to keep it fun. And while we're at it, if you're finding this valuable so far, or if you're just pumped to level up your data game, take a quick second to smash that subscribe button. You'll get notified when we drop even more practical tips, insights, and strategies to help your business thrive. Don't forget to hit like and share this video with your team. Let's spread the data love. All right, now let's dive into the slides and explore the 5 essential components of a winning data strategy. Stick with me, because each component builds on the next, and by the end, you'll have a roadmap to transform your data into a powerhouse for decision-making and growth. There was a time, not so long ago, when data was treated as an afterthought. Businesses saw it as a byproduct, a relic of their day-to-day operations. It sat there, ignored and unappreciated, like scraps left on the factory floor. This was the dark age of data. Back then, data was stored haphazardly, locked away in siloed systems, disconnected from the bigger picture. Reports were incomplete, decisions were based on gut feelings, and innovation, it was painfully slow. Organizations were blind to the immense potential that lay buried within their own systems. But then, a shift began. Slowly, the world realized that data wasn't a byproduct, it was a treasure. Over the past 2 decades, the perception of data has transformed entirely. What was once seen as useless overflow is now understood as a critical corporate asset, the fuel that powers decision-making, the key to unlocking new opportunities, and the foundation of innovation. This shift didn't happen by accident. As businesses faced increasing complexity, more customers, more systems, and more competition, the need for clarity became urgent. Leaders started asking the right questions. How can we predict customer needs before they arise? How can we optimize operations with precision? How can we innovate faster, smarter, and with confidence? The rise of analytics and advanced reporting has been nothing short of revolutionary. For the first time, organizations can see patterns in the noise, predict outcomes, and act with certainty. Data is no longer just something you collect. It's something you depend on to survive and thrive in a competitive world. But here's the challenge. While some organizations have embraced this transformation, others are still stuck in the past. They're clinging to outdated practices, failing to recognize the true value of their data. They're managing it like it's the 1990s, and it's costing them. And this brings us to your opportunity. Right now, you're standing at a crossroads. You can choose to continue treating data as a byproduct, running the risk of falling behind, or you can step forward into this new era where data becomes your greatest ally. The truth is, the businesses that adapt to this new reality don't just survive, they dominate. By treating data as the invaluable resource it truly is, they streamline operations, innovate faster, and deliver better results for their customers. So ask yourself this: are you ready to leave the old ways behind, to stop treating data as just another line item and start using it as the engine that drives your success? The transformation starts here, and it starts now. Let's keep going, because the next piece of this journey will uncover the dangers of not having a strategy. And trust me, you'll want to know what's at stake. In the beginning, humans sought to make sense of their world. With firelight and crude tools, they began to mark their stories on cave walls, simple symbols that represented their hunts, their tribes, their lives. These markings weren't just art, they were the earliest forms of recorded information, a way to remember and share knowledge that would outlive them. Over centuries, this act of recording evolved. Clay tablets became parchment scrolls, then bound books. Libraries were built to store the growing knowledge of humanity, from star charts to trade records, wars to philosophies. But even with this progress, data remained scattered. Isolated artifacts in a vast, unconnected world. Knowledge grew, but it wasn't organized, it wasn't understood. As civilization advanced, businesses began to produce data of their own. Inventory logs, sales transactions, and employee records became essential to daily operations. Yet this data was treated like an afterthought, a necessary record of the past, but never a tool for the future. Organizations stored it, they cataloged it, but they didn't yet understand its value. Data was considered a byproduct, a relic of the process, not the key to driving success. For decades, this approach defined the way businesses operated. Information was collected but siloed. Teams worked independently, often duplicating efforts, creating their own systems, and interpreting data differently. There was no cohesion, no shared understanding, and no unified strategy. The result? Wasted resources, inefficiency, and a failure to unlock the true potential of the data they held. But then everything began to change. As industries expanded and the volume of data grew exponentially, leaders started asking new questions. What if this data could be more than a record of what happened? What if it could tell us what might happen next? This marked the beginning of a transformation, a new way of thinking about data as a critical corporate asset, one that could drive innovation, predict outcomes, and power better decisions. Over the past 2 decades, this transformation has taken center stage. Businesses have shifted from seeing data as an obligation to treating it as their most valuable resource. Analytics, reporting, and machine learning have unlocked insights that were once unimaginable. Organizations now have the tools to spot trends, anticipate customer needs, and make data-driven decisions with speed and precision. But here's the reality. Not everyone has adapted to this new paradigm. While some businesses have embraced data as a strategic asset, others are still stuck in the past, struggling with the same inefficiencies. Data silos persist where teams can't access or share the information they need. Duplication of efforts leads to wasted time and resources. And without a unified approach, data often ends up inconsistent, unreliable, and underutilized. For example, one organization managed 17 separate projects, each requiring access to customer data. But instead of working together, every project created its own data inventory. The result? Redundancy, inefficiency, and an overwhelming amount of duplicate data, wasting resources that could have been put to better use. This is why the evolution of data requires more than just collecting information. It demands a strategy. A way to ensure that data is organized, accessible, and actionable. A way to break down silos, eliminate duplication, and create a single source of truth across the organization. This is where the power of a data strategy comes into play. It transforms chaos into clarity, turning scattered information into a cohesive system that drives innovation, efficiency, and growth. It allows businesses to adapt to the complexities of modern operations and unlock the full potential of their data. And so here we are today, standing at the crossroads of the past and the future. The question is no longer whether you have data. The question is, do you have a strategy to use it? Are you still treating data like a byproduct, or are you ready to harness it as the engine of your success? The transformation is already happening, and those who embrace it are shaping the future. This is the evolution of data, from cave paintings to the cornerstone of decision-making in the digital age, and the journey to mastering it begins now. There are two types of challenges in the world. The first kind, the kind that make you stronger. These are the challenges that test your limits, push your boundaries, and make success taste even sweeter. The second kind, though, are just plain stupid challenges. The ones that don't teach you anything, that hold you back for no reason, and exist only because of bad planning. And here's the thing. Not having a data strategy falls squarely into the second category. It's a problem that's 100% avoidable, but without a plan in place, you'll find yourself dealing with roadblocks that eat up time, resources, and energy. But instead of me just listing them out, let's spice things up. Welcome to the data strategy battle arena. 4 major obstacles are stepping into the ring. These aren't just annoying little problems. They're heavy hitters, and if you don't have a plan, they'll knock your business down. Let's meet today's contenders. The 4-way battle. Data challenges in the ring. Corner 1, data silos. In this corner, we've got data silos, the lone wolf of data management. Think of silos like selfish athletes who refuse to pass the ball. Each department hoards its own data, keeping it locked away in isolated systems. They're the ones shouting, "This is mine," while the rest of the team struggles to score. Data silos kill collaboration and leave your business running in circles. Can they hold their own in the ring? Let's see. Corner 2, duplication of efforts. Next up, it's duplication of efforts. The rookie who thinks hustle is everything. Imagine a basketball team where every single player dribbles their own ball down the court. Sure, they're all busy, but nothing gets done. That's what happens when teams create duplicate data or reinvent the wheel for every project. For example, one bank's IT team had 17 different projects, all working on customer data. But instead of sharing resources, each project built its own redundant system. Result? A huge waste of time, storage, and money. Duplication of efforts may look busy, but in this match, they're just tripping over themselves. Corner 3, lack of coordination. Our third competitor, lack of coordination, is the chaos agent of the group. Imagine a soccer team where no one knows the game plan. Some players are chasing the ball, others are running in the wrong direction, and everyone's yelling different strategies. That's what happens without a cohesive data strategy. Teams don't communicate, reports contradict each other, and decision-making becomes a mess. Lack of coordination thrives in confusion. But can they survive this battle? We'll find out. Corner 4, inefficiencies in data usage. Finally, we have inefficiencies in data usage, the slow, sluggish player who never seems to be in the right place at the right time. Picture a baseball team that can't agree on who's covering which base. Balls get missed, runs are scored, and the whole team looks disorganized. That's what happens when there's no unified approach to managing and sharing data. Teams waste time dealing with unclear origins, outdated reports, and system updates no one was told about. Inefficiencies drag everyone down, but can they bring that energy into the ring? Let's see. So, who will come out on top in this chaotic 4-way brawl? Spoiler alert, none of them. Because these challenges don't need to exist. With a solid data strategy, you can take these contenders out of the game before they even step into the arena. Data silos, gone. Duplication of efforts, streamlined. Lack of coordination, fixed. Inefficiencies in data usage, eliminated. This isn't just about surviving, It's about thriving. The question is, will you let these challenges hold you back? Or will you create a strategy that puts you back in control? Let's keep going to find out how to dominate the competition. Let me take you behind the scenes of a real-world example, a moment when a business was drowning in chaos and the lack of a data strategy was costing them dearly. This isn't just a story, it's a wake-up call. Picture this, a large financial institution. Let's call it the bank. Like many organizations, the bank was juggling dozens of projects. On paper, everything looked fine. 17 different initiatives, each focused on improving their customer data system. Sounds like progress, right? Wrong. Here's the problem. Each project was working in complete isolation. The IT teams weren't talking to each other. They weren't sharing resources. Instead, every project created its own separate customer data inventory. Imagine it. 17 projects, 17 databases, all holding essentially the same information, but built differently, stored differently, and accessed differently. This isn't just inefficient, it's madness. The result? Data redundancy. Resources were wasted on maintaining multiple versions of the same data. Storage costs skyrocketed as duplicate information piled up. And worst of all, the lack of communication and shared integration logic meant that none of these projects were compatible with one another. Every time a report was needed, the bank had to reconcile these scattered, inconsistent systems, leading to delays, errors, and frustrated employees. And it wasn't just about money. The lack of coordination caused confusion across the business. Marketing teams couldn't trust the customer profiles they were using. Sales teams had conflicting reports. Leadership couldn't make confident decisions because they weren't sure if the data was accurate. It was a domino effect, and every piece that fell added to the chaos. But here's where the story changes. When the bank partnered with data and analytics, the first thing we did was hit pause. We asked one critical question: what's the bigger picture? Step one was eliminating the silos. We didn't need 17 separate databases. We needed one single source of truth. By centralizing their customer data, we eliminated the duplication and streamlined access for every team across the business. No more redundant inventories, no more wasted resources, just clean, organized data ready to be used. Step two was building a strategy. We worked with the bank to create a roadmap, one that ensured every new project aligned with their data goals. From data governance policies to integration standards, this roadmap became the backbone of their operations. Every team now spoke the same language, used the same tools, and had access to the same accurate, up-to-date information. The result? Operational efficiency soared, storage costs dropped dramatically. Reports that used to take days to generate were now available in minutes. Marketing and sales teams could finally trust their data, and leadership had the insights they needed to make bold, confident decisions. And here's the key takeaway. This wasn't about technology, it was about strategy. The bank didn't just need better tools. They needed a plan, a cohesive approach that brought their teams and their data together. So, if you think this can't happen to you, think again. The same challenges the bank faced, redundancy, silos, inefficiencies, are the challenges most organizations deal with every day. But with the right strategy, you can turn it around. Just like they did. This is what happens when you stop reacting to chaos and start planning for success. Are you ready to make the same transformation? Let's keep moving. All right, let me explain this in a way that makes perfect sense. Defining a data strategy is a lot like starting a diet plan. And no, I'm not talking about a crash diet where you quit after a week. I'm talking about a proper, sustainable plan that gets results and transforms your life, or in this case, your business. Think about it. When you decide to get healthier, you don't just throw random ingredients into a blender and hope for the best. You need a structured plan, clear goals, and systems in place to make it stick. That's exactly what a data strategy does for your business. It's a roadmap for how to organize, manage, and use your data effectively. Let me break it down using the core components of a data strategy and how they're like steps in creating the perfect diet plan. The first step in your data strategy and your diet plan is to identify what you've got. In a diet, this means going through your fridge and pantry, tossing out the junk food, and figuring out which ingredients are worth keeping. In data strategy terms, this is about figuring out what data you already have. You need to ask questions like, what data do we collect? Where is it coming from? How is it labeled or categorized? For businesses, this is crucial because a lack of clarity here leads to confusion down the line. Just like with a diet, if you don't know what's in your kitchen, how can you start cooking healthy meals? Creating naming conventions and a consistent way to define data is like organizing your pantry so you can actually find what you need. Once you know what you have, it's time to think about storage. In a diet, this is the part where you stock up on the right ingredients, fresh produce, lean protein, healthy snacks, and store them properly so they're easy to access. In your data strategy, this step is about managing your data storage. You need to figure out where your data lives and ensure it's stored in a way that's efficient and accessible. For example, are your data storage solutions centralized or scattered across different systems? Is your data stored in a way that allows easy access and sharing between teams? Are you avoiding duplication and redundancy? Imagine storing all your groceries haphazardly, vegetables in the closet, milk in the garage. It'd be chaos. The same goes for your data. You need to create a system that allows everyone to find what they need, when they need it, without wasting time or resources. Now that your fridge is stocked, it's time to plan your meals. You don't want to just stare at the food, you want to know how and when you're going to use it. This is where data provisioning comes into play. Data provisioning is about ensuring that the right data gets to the right people at the right time. Just like a meal plan ensures you're eating balanced meals throughout the week, a provisioning plan ensures your teams have the data they need to make decisions. This step focuses on questions like, who needs access to the data? How will it be shared across teams? Is the data in the correct format for different use cases? When done correctly, provisioning eliminates waste and ensures your business runs efficiently. It's like prepping your meals ahead of time so you're not scrambling for unhealthy fast food at the last minute. Now comes the fun part, actually making the meal. This is where you take your ingredients and combine them into something cohesive and delicious. In your data strategy, this step is called integration. Integration means bringing together data from different sources to create a full usable picture. For example, how do you link customer data from your sales team with data from your marketing campaigns? Are your systems connected, or is data sitting in silos? Are you avoiding redundancy by creating a centralized approach to integration? This is where discipline comes in. No diet works without portion control, tracking your intake, and sticking to the plan. In data strategy terms, this is called governance. Governance ensures that your data is used responsibly, consistently, and securely. It's about setting rules and policies that everyone in your organization follows. For example, are there clear policies for how data is accessed and shared? Are you maintaining compliance with data regulations? Are there processes in place to ensure data accuracy and consistency? Without governance, your data strategy will fall apart. It's like eating a salad for lunch and then binging on junk food because you didn't set clear boundaries. Finally, just like with any diet plan, you need to track your progress. Are you hitting your goals? What's working? What's not? This step in your data strategy is about setting KPIs, key performance indicators, and continuously evaluating your results. You might ask, are decision-making processes faster and more accurate? Are you saving time and resources by reducing redundancies? Are your teams actually using the data effectively? If something isn't working, you adjust. Just like tweaking your diet, if you're not seeing the results you want, your data strategy needs to evolve with your business needs. Here's the bottom line. A data strategy is your business's health plan. It's not a quick fix. It's a long-term commitment to better habits, better tools, and better results. And just like a diet, the more you stick to it, the better your business will perform. So, are you ready to start your journey toward a healthier, more efficient data strategy? Let's dive into the next steps. All right, buckle up, because this is where we lay out the ultimate playbook for building a winning data strategy. These are the 5 core components, the foundational pillars that will take your business from data chaos to data powered. I'll give you a quick overview of each one here, but don't worry. We'll dive deeper into each part later so you can see how they all come together like a well-oiled machine. Let's go. First up, identify. Imagine trying to play a game of chess without knowing which pieces you have on the board. That's what it's like trying to work with data you don't fully understand. Identification is all about creating clarity. It means recognizing and defining your data assets across your organization. This is where you establish naming conventions, define value representations, and ensure your data is labeled and categorized in a way that makes sense. If you can't identify your data clearly, you're already playing a losing game. Next, we've got store. Think of this like organizing your tools in a workshop. It's not enough to just throw everything into a box. You need a system where everything has its place and you can access it quickly when you need it. Storing your data effectively means creating centralized solutions that are secure, efficient, and easy to access. This is how you eliminate redundancies and ensure that your data is ready for action at a moment's notice. No more wasted time searching through messy files or outdated systems. Now we move to provision, and let me tell you, this is where the magic happens. Provisioning is like being a world-class chef, serving up the perfect dish to the right guest at the right time. This step is all about ensuring that data is accessible and available to the people who need it exactly when they need it. But it's not just about access, it's about making sure that the data is formatted and packaged correctly for different use cases, whether it's for decision-making, reporting, or operations. Provisioning makes sure that your data is ready to perform. Fourth on the list is integrate. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a symphony where every musician is playing a different song. It's pure chaos, right? That's what happens when your data isn't integrated. Integration is about connecting data from different sources to create a unified, comprehensive view. This is how you ensure that your systems, teams, and processes are all working together seamlessly. It's not just about eliminating silos, it's about building harmony across your organization. And finally, we've got govern. This is the backbone of your strategy, the rules, the discipline, the structure. It's like having a referee in a game to make sure everyone is playing fair and following the rules. Governance ensures your data is accurate, secure, and compliant. It's about setting policies and standards for how data is managed, accessed, and used across your organization. Without governance, even the best strategy can fall apart. Here's the thing. Each of these components is powerful on its own, but together, they're unstoppable. Think of it like a sports team. You've got your offense, your defense, your playmaker, and your coach. Each role is critical, but the real magic happens when they work together toward the same goal. With these 5 components, identify, store, provision, integrate, and govern, you'll have everything you need to turn your data into a competitive advantage. We'll break each of these down in more detail later, but for now, keep this in mind. This is your roadmap. Follow it, and your data strategy will take your business to the next level. Let's set the stage. Imagine a grand orchestra, Hundreds of musicians, each with a different instrument. There's energy in the room, anticipation for the symphony to begin. But here's the catch. There's no sheet music. No one knows what to play or when. The violinists are guessing, the percussionists are improvising, and the brass section is completely out of sync. It's chaos, not music. This is what your data looks like without identification, a cacophony of information without clarity or order. To transform this noise into a symphony, the first step is to identify. In an orchestra, identifying your musicians is crucial. You need to know who's playing the violin, who's on the timpani, and where the trumpets are seated. In the same way, identifying your data is about understanding what you have. It's the process of uncovering and labeling your data assets so you know exactly what's in your system and how it can be used. This means establishing a consistent method to represent your data. Think of it as writing down the parts in the sheet music, organizing structured and unstructured data, defining conventions, and creating a language that everyone in your organization understands. Without this, your data remains a mystery and your team is left guessing. But we're not just labeling instruments, we're diving deeper. Metadata is your orchestra's program notes. It tells you not just what the instrument is, but its history, its role, and its importance in the symphony. Metadata acts as the card catalog of your data, defining its origins, its purpose, and where it belongs. With metadata, you're not just organizing your orchestra, you're giving it context and meaning. And then there's the score itself, the actual notes on the page. Understanding the meaning behind your data is just as crucial as identifying it. Whether your data is structured like sheet music or unstructured like an improvised jazz solo, you need to know what it represents. This understanding is the key to ensuring your data is usable, accessible, and ready to perform when needed. Finally, every orchestra needs a shared language. Your business data glossary is like the conductor's instructions, clear, universal definitions that ensure every musician knows what to play and when. This glossary consolidates terminology, creates consistency, and prevents confusion. It's the difference between harmony and chaos. Without identification, there is no music, only noise. But when you take the time to identify your data, define its meaning, and build a shared understanding, you create the foundation for something incredible. Your orchestra is ready to tune up, and the first notes of your data symphony can finally come to life. Now that we've identified the players, it's time to store their instruments and prepare for the next movement. Let's keep going. Now that we've identified the musicians and given everyone their sheet music, we face the next big challenge. Where do we keep all the instruments? Because let's be honest, if violins are shoved in random closets, timpani drums are left in the hallway, and the conductor's baton is missing, the orchestra is doomed before it even begins. This brings us to the second component of our data strategy, store. Just like instruments need to be carefully stored to stay accessible, in tune, and ready for the performance, your data must be managed with the same precision. Let's talk about how this works. Think of storing data as building the perfect orchestra hall. Instruments are stored in dedicated areas, carefully organized, easy to find, and protected from damage. For your business, this means creating a centralized and efficient storage solution that minimizes redundancy and ensures easy access. This is about reducing the clutter and chaos of scattered files and databases. With a proper storage strategy, your data is secure, organized, and always available when your team needs it. No more searching for misplaced assets or juggling outdated systems. But let's not underestimate the challenges here. As your orchestra grows, so does the complexity of storing its instruments. Storing everything in one place might seem convenient at first, but if the system isn't designed for scale, you'll end up with a massive pileup. For instance, a real-world example showed a medical research facility generating over 100 terabytes of data, copied redundantly by 18 teams. That's the equivalent of buying 18 violins for every musician because no one could agree on how to share one. This waste not only takes up space, but drives up costs and creates inefficiencies. What you need is a tailored storage strategy. Instead of dumping everything in a single chaotic room, you create specific spaces for different types of data. Just like string instruments have one room and brass instruments another, structured and unstructured data need their own solutions. This ensures that your data is accessible yet efficiently managed, so you're not overwhelmed by unnecessary duplication or complexity. The ultimate goal of storing your data is to ensure two things: accessibility and integrity. Every musician or team member should be able to find the instrument they need quickly without compromising its quality. That's why efficient storage isn't just about space, it's about creating a system that supports collaboration, scalability, and trust in your data. Storing your data is like caring for your orchestra's instruments. With a proper system, you ensure that your assets are always in tune, always available, and always ready to play their part. Neglect this, and you'll end up with an orchestra unable to perform, but storage is just the beginning. Now that the instruments are safely stored, it's time to talk about how to deliver them to the right musicians at the right time. This is where the real magic happens: provisioning. Let's dive into the next movement. Now comes the moment of action, the part where your orchestra doesn't just sit in silence, but comes alive with music. Imagine this: the instruments are perfectly stored, the musicians are ready, and the sheet music is in their hands. But there's one critical step left: provisioning. Without the right instruments delivered to the right people at the right time, even the best orchestra can't perform. In your data strategy, provisioning is the process of ensuring the right data is accessible, usable, and available when your teams need it. It's the magic that brings order to chaos and transforms preparation into performance. Let's unpack what this means. Think of provisioning as the stage crew of your orchestra. It's their job to ensure every musician has exactly what they need, whether it's a cello, a clarinet, or a percussion mallet. Similarly, data provisioning is about ensuring that the right data reaches the right person, formatted correctly for the task at hand. This process ensures that your teams aren't just handed raw, unusable data, but instead receive actionable insights tailored to their needs. Whether it's for decision-making, operations, or analytics, provisioning is what turns stored data into a valuable resource. Now imagine if each musician insisted on owning their own instruments, leading to piles of duplicates backstage. That would be a logistical nightmare, wouldn't it? In the same way, data provisioning eliminates the need for redundant data copies by enabling data reuse. When data is provisioned efficiently, teams don't have to create their own duplicate datasets. Instead, they access shared resources that are readily available, reducing inefficiencies and cutting down storage costs. It's like handing the flute player their instrument instead of them building one from scratch every time. Here's where it gets even better. Provisioning isn't just about access, it's about standardization. Imagine if every musician tuned their instruments differently or played their part in a random tempo. The result? Chaos, not harmony. Provisioning establishes standardized processes for data delivery. This ensures that every piece of data is formatted consistently and works seamlessly within the larger organization. It's what enables teams to collaborate effectively without miscommunication or errors. When provisioning is done right, the orchestra truly comes alive. The strings, brass, percussion, and woodwinds all come together, following the same conductor, to create something greater than the sum of its parts. Similarly, effective data provisioning enhances collaboration across teams, streamlining operations, and enabling everyone to perform at their best. With clear protocols, the bottlenecks disappear, and your organization transforms into a finely tuned symphony ready to tackle challenges and seize opportunities. Provisioning is the bridge between preparation and execution. It ensures that your teams aren't just sitting on mountains of data, but have exactly what they need, exactly when they need it. Without it, your orchestra might know what to play, but never get the instruments in time to perform. Now that we've seen how data is delivered to the right hands, it's time to talk about the connections that make everything work together. Integration. Let's dive into the next movement of our symphony. Imagine the stage is set. The musicians are ready, the instruments are in their hands, and the sheet music is open. But there's a problem. The orchestra isn't playing together. The violins are starting too early. The brass section is playing another song, and the percussionists have no idea what's going on. Chaos. This is what happens when there's no integration. In the world of data, integration is the key to harmony. It's about connecting isolated pieces of information into a unified system that works seamlessly together. Without it, you might have all the right data, but you'll never create a masterpiece. Let's explore how integration transforms disconnected data into a symphony of insights. Integration can feel like trying to coordinate a band that's never rehearsed together. Different systems speak different languages, operate on different timelines, and often don't share information. For example, in many organizations, sales teams, marketing teams, and customer support teams all use separate systems to manage data. The result? Silos that make collaboration nearly impossible. It's like your brass section refusing to share notes with the strings. They're in the same orchestra but playing entirely different tunes. The solution lies in having a conductor, someone who brings all these players together and ensures they follow the same tempo. In data strategy, this means establishing consistent integration methods that align all your systems and teams. With integration, you connect data sources from across the organization, creating a single unified view. This doesn't just improve efficiency, it enables teams to work together seamlessly, sharing information without redundancy or confusion. Let's talk about redundancy for a moment. Imagine if every musician brought their own version of the score, each slightly different. The result? Overlap, miscommunication, and wasted effort. The same happens with data when integration is missing. Teams create duplicate processes, store the same data in multiple places, and struggle to align their efforts. Integration eliminates these redundancies, ensuring everyone is working from the same playbook. It's about building a single source of truth for your entire organization. When integration is done right, it's like hearing the orchestra come together for the first time. The strings complement the woodwinds, the brass supports the percussion, and the entire ensemble creates something greater than the sum of its parts. With integrated data, your organization operates the same way. Sales data informs marketing strategies. Customer insights guide product development. Operations and finance align seamlessly. Integration ensures that every part of the business is contributing to the same goal. Integration is the glue that holds your data strategy together. It's the process of connecting every team, system, and data source into one cohesive whole. Without it, your organization might have the right players and instruments, but you'll never achieve the harmony of a true symphony. Now that the orchestra is playing in sync, it's time to talk about how we keep everything running smoothly. Enter the final movement, governance. Let's dive into the rules and structure that ensure your masterpiece lasts. The orchestra is finally playing in perfect harmony. The instruments are tuned, the musicians are following the sheet music, and the melodies are flowing. But let's imagine something goes wrong. A violinist starts playing out of tune, the percussionist rushes ahead, or the brass section gets too loud. Without rules, discipline, and a guiding hand, even the best orchestra can fall apart. This is where governance comes in. It's the conductor's baton, the agreed-upon rules of the performance, and the structure that ensures everyone plays their part exactly as intended. Governance is what keeps your data strategy in tune, on track, and ready to adapt. Let's explore why it's so important. Every orchestra needs rules, and so does your data. Governance is about creating a clear framework, a set of policies and guidelines that define how data is managed, accessed, and used across your organization. It's not just about control, it's about ensuring that data remains reliable, secure, and accessible while avoiding unnecessary bottlenecks. Think of it as giving the musicians their specific cues: when to play, how loud, and what tempo. Without this structure, even the most talented team can't perform effectively. Consistency is key. Imagine if half the orchestra were playing in a different key or following a different version of the score. Chaos, right? The same happens in an organization when there's no consistency in how data is managed. Governance ensures standardized practices for handling data from collection to analysis. This consistency is what keeps your entire organization on the same page, enabling smooth collaboration and efficient decision making. But having rules isn't enough. They need to be followed. In an orchestra, this means rehearsing, training, and ensuring everyone understands their role. In your data strategy, this means fostering a culture of compliance. Governance includes creating awareness programs, providing training for employees, and ensuring that every team understands and adheres to the policies in place. When everyone knows their part, the performance becomes effortless. Finally, governance isn't just about solving problems today. It's about ensuring your orchestra can perform for years to come. It's a system that adapts to new challenges, evolves with your organization, and supports long-term success. With effective governance, you're not just keeping your data in order, you're building trust, improving efficiency, and creating a foundation for innovation. The conductor ensures the performance goes smoothly, but governance ensures the orchestra's legacy endures. Governance is the conductor's baton. It keeps your data strategy on track, ensures compliance, and brings out the best in every part of your organization. Without it, the orchestra would falter and the performance would fall apart. But with governance in place, you're ready to create a masterpiece that resonates far beyond the stage. Now, with all 5 components, identify, store, provision, integrate, and govern, working together, your data strategy is complete. It's time to step back and see how this orchestra performs in the real world. Let's recap and explore the full symphony of what we've built together. Okay, we've talked a lot about orchestras and music, but let's switch gears for a moment and dive into the world of mathematics. Imagine Fermat's last theorem, one of the most famous problems in mathematical history. For over 350 years, it stumped the greatest minds, sparking endless debates, attempts, and false proofs. Why? Because solving it wasn't just about knowing math, it required a strategy, a framework to connect ideas that seemed completely unrelated. Your data strategy is like the proof to Fermat's last theorem. Without it, you have fragments of equations, isolated variables, and no clear path to the solution. It's only when you combine the pieces into a unified framework that everything makes sense and your business can thrive. Let's break this analogy down. In the world of mathematics, solving a major problem requires more than just numbers. It demands a plan. In the same way, a data strategy isn't just about having data, it's about creating a framework that ensures everything works together to drive results. Like a mathematical proof, a data strategy guarantees logic. Every piece of data has a purpose and supports the larger equation. Structure, the steps are clear, the connections are seamless, and the flow is flawless. Results, the final solution, your insights, are reliable, actionable, and aligned with your business goals. But what happens when you don't have a strategy? You're left with disconnected numbers, half-baked ideas, and a ton of wasted effort. Imagine trying to solve Fermat's theorem without understanding algebra, calculus, or number theory. That's what it's like trying to use data without a strategy. Here are just a few risks. Redundant work, like trying the same failed approach repeatedly. Teams without a strategy waste resources creating duplicate data sets. inconsistent results. Without a unified framework, every team might interpret data differently, leading to conflicting insights and poor decisions. Missed breakthroughs. The absence of structure means you're not connecting the dots. Those insights that could revolutionize your business, they're hidden in the chaos. Let's be clear, ignoring a data strategy is like attempting Fermat's theorem with no game plan. The consequences are real and damaging. Inefficiency. Teams work in silos, duplicating efforts and solving the same problems over and over again. Complexity. Overload. As data grows, the lack of structure creates chaos, making it harder to manage and use effectively. Loss of trust. If your data doesn't hold up to scrutiny, your team and stakeholders lose confidence in your decisions. This isn't just about lost time, it's about missing opportunities to lead, innovate, and stay ahead. Fermat's last theorem wasn't solved by accident. It took strategy, collaboration, and a clear framework to bring it all together. The same is true for your data strategy. Without it, you're left with disconnected pieces of information and no way to solve the larger problem. But with a data strategy in place, you're creating a roadmap to insights, innovation, and success. Every variable aligns, every equation solves a piece of the puzzle, and together it forms a cohesive, powerful solution. And just like Fermat's infamous margin note, I have discovered a truly marvelous proof. But this margin is too narrow to contain it. This video is too short to cover it all. But don't worry. In the next steps, we'll break it down piece by piece and explore how to unlock your data strategy masterpiece. If you're ready to dive deeper into the world of data strategy and beyond, make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Don't forget to like the video and share it with your team, because great strategies start with shared knowledge. Stay tuned and let's solve this together. Let's kick this off with a fun question. What's your favorite superhero superpower? Think about it for a second. Is it the ability to fly, soaring over the chaos, seeing the big picture? Or maybe super strength, crushing through obstacles that get in your way? Or how about laser sharp intelligence, being able to solve any problem in seconds flat? Now, here's why I ask. Superheroes have these powers because they solve problems in ways no one else can. They're not just cool, they're strategic. And believe it or not, in the business world, we have our own version of a superpower. It might not involve capes or masks, but it's just as transformative. I'm talking about a killer data strategy. Yep, a well-crafted data strategy is like your business's very own superhero toolkit. And today, I'm going to break down why it's a game changer. Let me show you the superpowers it gives your organization. Let's start with teleportation, the ability to access data across departments and systems instantly. With a solid data strategy, your team can avoid wasting time digging through chaotic systems and spreadsheets. Imagine the superpower to bring people and information together in seconds. That's what enhanced data access and sharing does for your organization. No barriers, no delays, just seamless collaboration. Now imagine having super strength. You're eliminating inefficiencies and smashing through redundancy. That's exactly what happens with increased efficiency and reduced redundancy in your data strategy. A centralized approach minimizes duplicate efforts and waste while ensuring every team is aligned. You're not wasting energy fighting unnecessary battles. Instead, you're focused on winning the war. Next up is X-ray vision. Think of it as seeing through layers of noise and finding exactly what matters. That's what improved decision-making brings to your business. With clean, actionable data at your fingertips, you're not guessing anymore. You're making strategic decisions with absolute clarity. It's your secret weapon for smarter, faster, and more precise leadership. Now let's unlock time travel. A great data strategy ensures your organization is not just reacting to the present, it's proactively planning for the future. That's the magic of long-term strategic alignment. You're building a roadmap that connects today's actions with tomorrow's goals. You're not just surviving shifts in the market, you're thriving because you've already planned for them. Lastly, let's talk defense. Superheroes can't fight chaos without protection, and businesses can't operate without trust. That's where facilitated data governance comes in. Like Captain America's shield, it safeguards your operations by ensuring data integrity, consistency, and security. It keeps your foundation strong and your organization compliant with policies and regulations. Here's the deal: superheroes are awesome, but even they need a plan. They've got the power, but it's strategy that makes them unstoppable. That's exactly what the power of a data strategy does for your business. It combines superpowers into a cohesive force that drives success. So, what superpower do you want for your organization? If it's the ability to transform data into your competitive advantage, you're in the right place. Stick with me because this is just the beginning. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with your team because every business deserves its superhero moment. Let's make yours happen. All right, welcome back, Heroes in Training. If you're just tuning in, we've been exploring how to unlock the ultimate superpower, your organization's data strategy. And now it's time to dive into the action. Picture this. You're the star of your very own Gen V saga, and your data strategy is the ultimate power-up that transforms your team into an unstoppable force, ready to suit up and take on the mission. Let's go. Just like young superheroes in training, creating a data strategy involves mastering your fundamentals, setting goals, and constantly evolving. Here's how you level up. Every superhero starts by understanding their powers. Similarly, you need to evaluate your existing data management processes. How is your data acquired, stored, managed, shared, and used? Identify the strengths and weaknesses of your current setup. Look at your tools, governance practices, and integration across teams. This is your baseline. It's like discovering whether you can fly or just leap really high. Either way, you need to know where you stand before you level up. What's your end game? Every mission needs a clear purpose. Set SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Align these goals with your business objectives and identify the gaps you're aiming to close. Think of this step as creating your superhero mission statement. What are you fighting for? Clarity here ensures you're not just winging it. No hero works alone. You need a framework that pulls everything together. Outline the core components of your strategy: data identification, storage, provisioning, integration, and governance. This framework is your superhero toolkit, ensuring all your powers work cohesively and effectively. It's the difference between a scattered vigilante and a well-organized team. Spoiler: teamwork wins every time. Now it's time to suit up and get to work. Roll out the strategy across your organization. Engage and train your stakeholders, because even the best strategy needs people who understand and support it. Ensure collaboration between teams to maintain alignment. Execution is where you prove you're more than just talk. It's your big hero moment, so don't hold back. Even the best superheroes learn and grow with experience. Establish a continuous review process to measure effectiveness. Use performance metrics to see what's working and what's not. Make necessary adjustments to keep your strategy aligned with evolving business needs. This step ensures your strategy stays relevant and agile, just like a hero adapting to new challenges. With these steps, you've got a clear roadmap to creating a data strategy that not only gets the job done, but makes your organization a force to be reckoned with. The Gen V way isn't about just having powers, it's about knowing how to use them wisely, effectively, and with purpose. Your data strategy is the superhero team-up moment that transforms chaos into coordinated brilliance. So, are you ready to lead your team to victory? Hit that subscribe button to stay in the loop, because we're just getting started on this epic journey. And hey, if you're feeling supercharged and a little entertained, why not pass that energy on? Share this video with your network and help give my channel its own superpowers. Together, we'll keep leveling up your data strategy game, one heroic move at a time. The Eye of Sauron, watchful, unblinking, and always searching for weakness. In the world of Middle-earth, Sauron's ambition was boundless. He had immense power, vast resources, and the One Ring, the ultimate tool of domination. But here's the thing, even the mighty Sauron couldn't execute his plan without flaws, and just like his downfall, your data strategy could crumble if you fall into common pitfalls. You might have the most advanced tools, endless data, and the potential to rule your industry, but without avoiding these missteps, you're leaving your metaphorical tower vulnerable to collapse. Let's break down the traps that can doom your strategy and how to avoid them. Sauron forged the One Ring to control the other rings of power, but here's where he slipped. He didn't unite them effectively. In your data strategy, this happens when you invest in disconnected systems or siloed solutions. Instead of harmony, you create chaos. Without a unified approach, inefficiencies take over and your data ends up scattered and underutilized. Imagine Sauron trying to conquer everything all at once without focusing on his primary targets. Overreaching ambition without clear goals leads to failure. In data strategy, this looks like starting projects without specific objectives or attempting to solve every problem at once. The result? Resources are wasted, progress stalls, and your strategy falls apart. Focus is your One Ring. Keep it clear and purposeful. The armies of Mordor may have been terrifying, but they were also chaotic and disorganized. Sauron failed to establish proper control over his forces, and it cost him dearly. In your organization, poor data governance, no policies, no standards, no oversight, leads to the same fate. Your data becomes unreliable, inaccessible, and untrustworthy, undermining your entire strategy. Even with Saruman on his side, Sauron couldn't unite all factions. His inability to ensure coordination across his allies left vulnerabilities that the Fellowship exploited. Similarly, organizations that fail to align teams and departments create silos and redundancy. When teams don't work together, your data strategy lacks the strength and cohesion to succeed. Sauron's downfall wasn't due to a lack of power, it was due to a lack of strategy and focus. The eye of Sauron saw everything, but it missed the critical flaws within its own plan. If you want your data strategy to succeed, you need to unite your systems and teams under a single cohesive approach. Set clear, actionable goals that keep your strategy grounded. Establish robust governance to keep your data trustworthy. Foster collaboration across your entire organization. In the battle for data supremacy, don't be the Sauron of the story. Be the Fellowship, focused, coordinated, and unstoppable. Ready to build your one strategy to rule them all, let's forge it together. Let's boldly go where no strategy has gone before. A successful data strategy isn't just about having the right tools or even the right team. It's about bringing together the core elements that ensure your organization runs like a starship at peak efficiency. Think of it like the USS Enterprise. Every department, from engineering to the bridge, must work in perfect harmony, or the mission goes off course. Let's explore these elements that will keep your strategy on warp speed and out of a black hole. First, we need to talk about people, the crew that keeps the whole operation running. From data engineers to analysts and decision makers, everyone plays a vital role. But here's the thing. Without clear roles and responsibilities, even the best crew can end up like an away team wandering into trouble without backup. Ensure your team knows their roles, has the right skills, and is aligned with your mission. This is about fostering collaboration across departments, so no one's working in a silo. After all, you wouldn't send Spock to engineering and Scotty to science. They each need to play to their strengths. Your process is like Starfleet's Prime Directive. It provides clear, consistent rules that guide how your team interacts with data. It includes everything from how data is collected and stored to how it's analyzed and shared. But here's the kicker. Just like Captain Kirk often bent the Prime Directive to save the day, your processes need flexibility too. A rigid strategy won't adapt to changing needs or unexpected challenges. Strike a balance between structure and agility to keep your data operations running smoothly. Technology is the warp core, the powerhouse that enables your data strategy to operate at full capacity. From cloud platforms to machine learning tools, the right technology allows you to process, analyze, and act on data faster than ever. But remember, even the most advanced starship can fail if the systems aren't properly integrated. Technology alone isn't enough. It needs to work seamlessly with your people and processes. Otherwise, it's like installing a warp core without aligning it to the ship's power grid, a recipe for disaster. Finally, we come to data itself, the star maps that guide your journey. Without accurate, reliable, and accessible data, you're essentially flying blind. Focus on creating a single source of truth for your organization. Just like the enterprise uses star maps to chart its course, your data must be well organized and easily accessible to drive decision-making. Prioritize data quality and consistency, ensuring that everyone in the organization is navigating from the same map. When you bring together the crew, the prime directive, the warp core, and the star maps, your data strategy becomes more than just a plan. It becomes an operational masterpiece. But forget even one element, and you risk ending up like a red shirt on an away mission, vulnerable and out of your depth. So let's make sure your data strategy runs like the enterprise, efficient, adaptable, and always boldly moving forward. Ready to take your mission to the next galaxy? Set your strategy to warp speed and let's go. By the might of Grayskull, we've reached the pinnacle of this journey. It's time to step back, reflect, and consolidate everything we've covered into actionable insights. These key takeaways will ensure you're fully equipped to build, implement, and sustain a powerful data strategy that drives your organization forward. Let's start with the foundation. Your data isn't just an afterthought or a byproduct of your operations. It's one of the most valuable assets your organization possesses. Like any valuable resource, it demands thoughtful investment, strategic management, and constant refinement to unlock its full potential. When data is treated as an asset, it becomes a driver of decision-making, a catalyst for innovation, and a force for operational efficiency. Think of it like financial capital or intellectual property. Managed poorly, it creates chaos. Managed well, it creates opportunity. The organizations that recognize and act on this truth are the ones that thrive in a competitive landscape. A house isn't built without blueprints, and a data strategy isn't successful without a solid framework. We've discussed the 5 core components: identify, store, provision, integrate, and govern as the structural pillars that hold everything together. This framework ensures that your data flows smoothly across your organization, remains accessible to the right people, and is leveraged effectively for decision-making. Skipping or neglecting any of these components can lead to inefficiencies, inconsistencies, and ultimately missed opportunities. Even the best framework won't work in a silo. A successful data strategy depends on collaboration across teams, departments, and leadership. It's not just about technical implementation, it's about cultural alignment. Every team, from IT to operations, from sales to marketing, must share the same goals and work toward a unified vision. Collaboration breaks down silos, ensures consistent communication, and amplifies the impact of a strategy. Think of your organization as a single entity where every part contributes to the whole. The more aligned your teams are, the more value your data strategy will generate. Data governance isn't just a technical requirement, it's the backbone of a sustainable strategy. Without governance, your data loses its integrity, security, and reliability. Governance ensures that your organization has the policies, standards, and procedures to manage data consistently, securely, and in compliance with regulations. It's about more than just compliance, it's about building trust. When your team and stakeholders trust your data, decision-making becomes faster, more accurate, and more confident. Governance also prepares your organization for future growth, ensuring your data strategy scales seamlessly as your business evolves. The world of data is constantly changing. New technologies emerge, markets shift, and organizational priorities evolve. A static data strategy is a vulnerable one. Agility is the key to keeping your strategy relevant and effective. Regularly review your processes, assess your performance metrics, and adapt your strategy to meet new challenges and seize emerging opportunities. Being agile doesn't mean being reactive, it means being proactive and prepared to evolve. This adaptability ensures that your data strategy isn't just a tool for today, but a cornerstone for your organization's long-term success. These takeaways form the bedrock of a successful data strategy. They are not just concepts, they are practices that, when implemented with precision and commitment, can transform your organization. Your data strategy isn't a one-time project, it's an ongoing journey, one that requires vision, discipline, and collaboration to sustain. The power of a data strategy lies in its ability to unify people, processes, technology, and data itself into a seamless system that drives innovation and growth. Treat your data as the asset it is, align your teams, govern with precision, and evolve with the times, and you'll be well positioned to succeed in the ever-changing business landscape. And here we are, the final slide of this journey. I want to take a moment to thank you for sticking with me through this deep dive into data strategy. Whether you're just starting to build your framework or refining an existing one, I hope you found value and inspiration in what we've covered. Now, before we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect on the key takeaways that will help you unlock the true potential of your data strategy. These are the core principles that will drive your business forward and set you on the path to success. Just like any other resource in your business, whether it's capital, intellectual property, or human talent, data is an asset. Too often, organizations don't treat their data with the same care and strategic intent, which leads to missed opportunities and inefficiencies. To truly unlock the value of your data, it must be seen as an ongoing investment. You need to plan for its collection, storage, security, accessibility, and proper usage across the entire organization. When data is treated as an asset, it becomes a driver for everything from smarter decision-making to innovative solutions and a competitive advantage in your industry. A well-managed data strategy ensures you can capture value from your data over the long term, turning it into actionable insights that fuel business success. Building a data strategy is not a one-size-fits-all endeavor. It's like constructing a building. You need a solid foundation. The 5 core components we discussed, identify, store, provision, integrate, and govern, are the critical pillars that hold everything together. Skipping or ignoring any one of these areas could lead to inefficiencies, poor data quality, or even security risks. Think of each element like a piece of a puzzle. When everything fits together correctly, your data flows seamlessly throughout the organization, delivering value at every level. The key here is ensuring that these components work in harmony with a well thought out approach to managing, storing, accessing, and governing your data. Data strategies don't thrive in silos. They require cross-functional collaboration between departments, teams, and leadership. In the same way that a successful project requires everyone to work toward a shared goal, a successful data strategy requires alignment. Your IT department, data engineers, marketers, sales teams, and leadership must work hand in hand to ensure that data is being collected, used, and shared effectively. When everyone is aligned, it creates a culture of collaboration, where data becomes a shared resource that drives innovation across all areas of the business. It's essential to bring together diverse skill sets and perspectives to ensure that your data strategy delivers its maximum potential. Data governance is the backbone of any successful data strategy. Without strong governance policies, data quickly becomes unreliable and difficult to manage. Governance is about ensuring that data is secure, consistent, compliant, and accessible to the right people at the right time. This includes establishing data ownership, defining roles and responsibilities, and setting clear policies for data management and security. When governance is implemented effectively, it builds trust among stakeholders. People across the organization know that they can rely on data to make informed decisions. Furthermore, it ensures that you're compliant with industry standards and regulations, protecting your organization from legal or financial repercussions. Finally, one of the most important principles of any data strategy is agility. The data landscape is constantly changing. New technologies emerge, regulations evolve, and business needs shift. If your data strategy isn't adaptable, it can quickly become outdated. Agility means being able to revisit your data strategy regularly, assess how well it's meeting your goals, and make adjustments as necessary. It's about creating a data-driven culture that encourages flexibility and continuous improvement. A successful data strategy is one that can evolve as your business grows, scales, and faces new challenges. By staying agile, you ensure that your strategy can adapt to new opportunities and threats, keeping your organization at the cutting edge. I'd love to continue the conversation and hear about your experiences with data strategy. Whether you're just starting to build your strategy, encountering roadblocks, or finding new ways to maximize the value of your data, I'm here to connect. You can find me on LinkedIn as Mirko Peters, Data and Analytics, where I share insights, industry trends, and discussions around building data strategies that drive business success. Don't hesitate to send me a message. I'm always excited to meet like-minded professionals and share ideas on how we can make data work better for everyone. Once again, thank you for spending your time with me today. I hope this presentation has given you the tools, insights, and inspiration to take your data strategy to the next level. Remember, a great data strategy isn't built overnight. It's a process that takes time, collaboration, and dedication. Stay curious, keep learning, and don't be afraid to take bold steps with your data strategy. Let's continue to unlock its full potential together. Take care, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.